I'm Stephanie, and welcome to Wine Club. This is the playlist where I drink good wine while I whine about a bad book. And today's offender is How Can I Help You by Laura Sims. Now, I do want to give a warning. There are going to be some spoilers in this review, as well as some shit talking. If that is not your varietal, you are probably not going to like this review. And speaking of varietals, today we are drinking French Dog Cabernet Sauvignon. I totally did just buy this because of the bottle. I mean, look how cute the little guy is. Look at him. He's adorable. But very excited to get that. My husband is cooking us steaks tonight, so this will pair perfectly with it. So we're going to talk about a bad book while I wait for dinner. Now, before I get into this, I do want to say if you want a spoiler-free version of this review, please check out my What I Read in June video. I also want to say that this review is solely about the work and not about the author as a person. I'm sure Sims is a lovely human being. So this was a book that I actually expected to finish in May, as it's such a small little guy. Like, I picked this specifically as it was only like 250 some pages, and I thought, for sure I can fit this in May. And yet that did not happen, because this was not the best read. Let's go ahead and see what this promised, though, first. No one knows Margot's real name. Her colleagues and patrons at a small-town public library know only her middle-aged normalcy, congeniality, and charm. They have no reason to suspect that she is, in fact, a former nurse with a trail of premature deaths in her wake. She has turned a new page, so to speak, and the library is her sanctuary, a place to quell old urges. That is, at least until Patricia, a recent graduate and failed novelist, joins the library staff. Patricia quickly notices Margot's subtly sinister edge and watches her carefully. When a tragic incident in the library bathroom gives her a hint of Margot's mysterious past, Patricia can't resist digging deeper, even as her new fixation becomes all-consuming and sends both women hurtling towards disaster. Chilling, incisive, and darkly humorous, How Can I Help You is a propulsive work of psychological suspense that asks how far we might go to justify our most monstrous desires. So I repeat, I picked this up because I expected a fast, fun read and wanted to squeeze in an extra read in May. But this book took forever to read. It's not a big book, but my God, did I struggle reading this. And that's both because of some formatting issues that drove me absolutely bonkers, and the fact that this is just slow and repetitive. We have two main characters, and yet we spend so much time seeing the exact same scene from their different viewpoints, but both characters are so weird and jump to wild, yet amazingly correct, conclusions that it becomes not only repetitive, but it's just so fucking boring. I honestly think the biggest issue with this book is that Sims could have done so much more with these characters and the setting, but for some reason kept it so contained. This had all the right elements, but did not fully utilize them. And seriously, the formatting issues drove me crazy. Like, I'm not sure if it was how it was written or sent to print, but it was so distracting. Like, normally you would get a line break for different characters speaking, but all the dialogue is lumped into the same paragraph, which slowed the reading experience down as I had to figure out, like, who's saying what, and like, is this a response or is this the same person talking? It's a small detail for sure, but it was a distracting one that really slowed me down. So let's go ahead and get into the story proper, shall we? So again, like I said, we have two main characters, Margot and Patricia, and the story is told from each of their first-person point of views. We have Margot, who was previously Jane, a basically Dr. Kevorkian-style nurse who loved to help her patients. Her help included ending their lives, even if that was the exact opposite of help in their eyes. And that just rhymed. She enjoyed being there in their last moments and somewhat almost got off on experiencing their deaths with them. This really worked in My Darlings by Marie Still, which I absolutely loved. I didn't find it as compelling in this, because mostly I don't understand why Margot/Jane chooses to do this. I don't understand her motivation or what she gets out of this. She loves to lay with her victims and breathe in their dying breaths, but that's it. Besides doing that, I know that Margot loves baths. That's all I really know about her. Like, I like taking a good bubble bath now and then, but Margot is obsessed. She is like an addict, counting down until bath time after work. 6 hours until bath time. 4 hours until bath time. And then she just boils her skin, and that's it. Do we ever find out why she does what she does? Not really. I just wanted so much more from her character, but she's who we're stuck with when we're not in Patricia's head. And I will get to her. So we start off the book with Margot, and she is on the run as she has been caught, helping one of her patients on top of other suspicious deaths. So she leaves her identity of Jane behind. She becomes Margot and gets a job as a librarian in the small town of Carlisle. She's now been there for 2 years and has managed to become Margot and leave Jane in the past. So she's not up to helping people anymore. Until Patricia arrives. Patricia joins the library staff as the reference librarian and honestly only took the job to get away from her boyfriend in Chicago for some reason. I don't think we ever really get an explanation. They're still in contact, and he even comes to visit at some point. She also wants to get away because she's been writing this manuscript that has been rejected multiple times. Do we find out what her book was really about? No. But it's obviously something weird, as her boyfriend is super happy that she has stopped writing and put all of that behind her and got a normal job. I'm just sitting here like, I want to know what your book was about, because really, it seems like anything these days can get published, so you really had to be writing some niche or weird shit. But Patricia's arrival, for some reason, really throws Margot for a loop. It's not like Patricia is connected to Margot's past, like she's related to a patient or anything. She just really throws Margot off her game, and Margot begins to share true details about her past, especially after Patricia catches her helping a library patron who dies in the bathroom. And what do you know? Patricia actually does the normal thing and Googles what Margot has told her about herself and finds out that Margot used to be Jane, a nurse accused of ending the lives of her patients. Does Patricia call the police? Nope. This is perfect. A fire is now lit under her ass and she starts writing again. Yay! I've had writer's block, and I really hope meeting a murderer is not what it takes to solve it. So Patricia is writing again, and she's writing about Margot. She's obsessed with Margot. And now she can't possibly call the cops who are looking for Jane, as they'll think she's been helping Margot or hiding her. She's just gonna wait until her book is almost published, and then let the cops know where this woman that they want is. Great idea. Now, the dual point of views could have worked if it weren't for the fact that Patricia's is so boring, and it's mostly her recapping what we've already seen from Margot's point of view, but there's nothing new or exciting added. And Margot is so narcissistic and full of herself that it is almost comical. Again, I believed it in My Darlings, but I don't believe it here. Margot thinks she is so amazing and so wonderful and thinks everyone is constantly thinking about her. But I'm sitting here I don't know why you would think that, though. She knows Patricia is watching her and thinking about her, and she is right. But it's not a logical conclusion. They both are miraculously right about what the other is thinking or piecing together, even though it makes no sense whatsoever. And Patricia also makes many a leap in logic. She quickly puts together that Margot is a killer and uses that to fuel her writing. She starts to get pleasure out of it. And I don't know why. Like, it's never explained. Like so many things in this story. Why is nothing ever explained? There's a point where Patricia's boyfriend comes to visit, and he's barely a character. But he comes, and so does she. But only because she's imagining Margot at work, helping people. She is getting off to thinking about Margot killing people. This comes out of nowhere and is never explored until the story is pretty much done. So Patricia is busy studying Margot and writing about her, and Margot is busy trying to befriend Patricia to keep her off her trail. Again, no clue why they want to be friends. We hear about the same days over and over and over from both of their points of views. It's straight up boring. Because they're both right about everything. It's like they know they're the author, so they can just make things happen the way that they're supposed to. Like, none of them are ever wrong about what they think. Until Margot slips. It's been 2 years, and she needs a fix. She ends up helping this guy who would come to the library to watch Rhymes with Corn, and obviously wanted to be caught and also seemed to like the humiliation aspect of being caught. Whatever floats your boat, man. So Margot invites him over to her place. Even though all the other workers know Margot is always the one to go kick him out because none of the other librarians want to deal with him. This is a small town. Who might be a suspect in his death? Margot. Does she care? I guess not. So Margot does take this guy's life, but realizes, whoopsie, when she used to do this at the hospital, she didn't have to worry about corpse cleanup, and throws out her back trying to get rid of him in a dumpster. And it was all for nothing because his body is discovered like a day later. She went out to buy a shovel to bury him, and the cops are already there and investigating as, again, she put him in a dumpster in the parking lot of her apartment building. Like, 2 suspicious deaths are now connected to Margot, and she just comes up walking to the crime scene with a shovel. Girl, what were you thinking? Did she wear gloves while taking his life? Nope. Did she rub her nasty lips all over him as he took his last breath? She sure did. Did her sweaty fingers help cover his body up? Yep. Like, there should be more than enough DNA evidence to convict her. And of course, Patricia immediately knows that Margot has something to do with this. Okay, sure. Again, a small book, but we've got time for all this bullshit. So Margot is spiraling. 1 minute she's flying high off her recent offering of assistance to him, and then the next she's withdrawn and hostile. Her boss suggests that she take some sort of leave of absence to sort herself out, and Margot is furious with Patricia. This all started because of Patricia. And then she stumbles across Patricia's notebook, opens it, and realizes that Patricia knows exactly who she is. She is writing about Margot and the joy that she gets from helping people. Margot ends up stealing the notebook to lure Patricia away from the other staff. They go downstairs into the basement/archives, and Margot, who has been fascinated with burning stuff from her past, and I guess there's some backstory that she apparently, as a child, set fire to her own home to get rid of her parents. Yep, in the library, she has also started a little fire and threatens to drop Patricia's notebook right into the flames. Margot grabbed a knife from the kitchen before she came downstairs and has absolutely no plans of letting Patricia leave alive. But Patricia also came prepared. So before Margot can catch the notebook completely on fire and destroy all of Patricia's new writing, Patricia is able to grab it and stabs Margot in the neck with a letter opener. The library catches fire, and Patricia pulls out the letter opener and runs away. This is very Girl on the Train, isn't it? So the book ends with Patricia offering her help to the library patrons and basically turning into Margot. This could have been a good ending if I gave one shit about Patricia. She is so underdeveloped that this ending falls so flat. This ending is also so abrupt. I had about 15 pages left, and I just kept thinking to myself, there's no way this book can end in 15 pages. We have so much to figure out and deal with, and oh no, this is the end? Oh, that is actually the end. Okay, I guess. Like I've said before in some reviews that some books feel like first drafts that were accidentally sent to the printer, and unfortunately this kind of has the same feel. This feels like a first draft where we're getting the major beats down, but then we need to go back and like beef it up, and we just kind of skipped that step, which sucks because again, this has all the right elements to be an absolutely amazing read. I totally see what Sims wanted to do with this story. It just needed some finessing. Like I feel like a mom who is all, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. This was way more boring than it should have been, and the characters were so one-dimensional. At the end of the day, I ended up giving this 2 stars, mostly because the idea for this is so good. I was so excited for this supposed thriller set in a library, and one character is a writer. Why are we throwing out all the things that I love and turning it into something that I hate? This should have been amazing for me. I should have devoured this. It put me to sleep. Yeah, mostly I'm just sad as had the right building blocks and it just doesn't build into anything. It fell flat and the story ended up being so bland. And again, for such a short book, this really dragged. It had promise, but it was ultimately a letdown for me. And I'm really sad because again, all the right elements. Don't know what happened. He understands me. I think he gets me. If you have any recommendations for good thrillers that are set in the library or feature writer main characters, I would absolutely love to hear about them. Please share your recommendations in the comments below. Otherwise, thanks for joining me at Wine Club.